All right, Saturday, March 14th. Yep. So today, again, not such a busy day, but I got a few things done. Let's go over that. Flip this around. This porch here, I sanded and put another coat of the wood filler on these railings. When you put the first coat in, it usually dries with a little bit of a dent in it. So you really want it flat on the top. So I sanded it and then put one more coating on down here as well. So tomorrow I'll sand and that should be good enough. And then I'll just paint. Piece of cake up here. And I also got these other 4 beams. I added one more because it was down in the Quonset hut. So I brought it up and I've been starting to paint the sides of those boards and just getting started. I got one side with 2 coats. And then today, let's go down to the Quonset hut and I'll show you what I got done today. Well, the stars finally aligned and I was able to get the trim around the carriage doors complete. So it was this vertical red or Spanish tile piece here, this one next to the door, and this one up here along the top, which is the southern peach. So all the trim around the carriage doors is finished. I just need to go over it and do a little clear caulk on some of the screw holes, and then once that's done, I'll put the garage door trim around it so it kind of seals it. It's like weather stripping, but it's really for garage doors, but it'll seal the spots where the trim isn't right up against the door. For example, I think up here you can see like a slight little gap up there, and that'll make sure that nothing can get into that gap. There's a few other little places, but you got to do it everywhere. Otherwise, it won't look right. Yeah, you can't just do it in a few places. So, yeah, that won't take too long. You just got to cut it. And it has an adhesive backing. And then once that's on in place, it has some extra screws if you really want to hold it on there with the screws. We'll see what happens. I don't think the screws will look so great, but they do have these little black caps that kind of hide the screws. So maybe I'll try it. I don't know. And then inside, some lights. I got some of the trim that I've been working on to just cover these seams on the inside of the carriage doors. That's all it is. It's nothing more than decorative. Well, it kind of does close up the gap between the metal triangles here and the Lawan wood on the inside of the door. So I thought I'd do it in red and just kind of make it stand out a little bit. But I got that on there. It's actually just tacked in place. I'll put a little caulk behind it and then finally do a final tack in place, and that should be the end of that. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Got one more thing. And I was thwarted once again in painting this side of the Quonset hut. I was going to come down here this morning. It's all nice and dry. It's clean. It's ready to be painted. And I had the 4 gallons of the 1-part epoxy Rust-Oleum garage floor paint. And I opened up the first can and I was expecting it to be blue, because there's a little tag at the bottom that's blue. And on some of the other cans that I was going to buy when I was buying the paint had like a battleship gray at the bottom. So I'm figuring, well, that's the color. So they only had like 2 cans of the battleship gray, but they had 4 cans of the blue. So I think, all right, well, I'll just grab the blue while I can. And, then I'll have a consistent color on the floor. So I open it up, first can, and it's white inside. I'm like, okay, that's a little odd. So maybe the color's at the bottom, maybe it's settled, it's been a couple of weeks. So I took a paint stirrer out and I started to stir it up and nothing. It's still all completely white. So I don't understand what's going on here. So I went on the internet and I did an AI search if these particular paints need to have colors added to them at the store when you buy them. And yes, in fact, these particular kinds of paint do need to have color added to them. So I'm going to have to take them back to Lowe's and have them add the color. So I guess it's an opportunity to choose a color if I wanted something other than the blue, but it is kind of a pain in the neck. Anyway, I'll probably be going into town tomorrow and I can get that done, and then maybe I can come back and paint this floor in the afternoon. I don't know, we'll see. I did put a little bit on the floor here just to test it. At first I thought, oh, well, it's white, but maybe it turns blue. I didn't know. So I put a little bit here, but no, it stayed clear. So hopefully I'll get that tinted and I can do some painting tomorrow or Monday. All right, that's it for today. Bye. Sunday, March 15th, late afternoon. Look what I got done today. The curse has been lifted, finally. All the stars aligned, and I was able to paint at least, I'm guessing, 1/3 of the floor of the Quonset hut. So it is a 5-day cure time. So they say you can drive on it. Not that I'm going to be driving on it, but I want to put stuff on it. You can drive on it in 5 days. So I'll let it sit for 5 days. I don't think I'll be able to do any more because I need to move stuff over and then do another power wash out this center section, or maybe I'll do the other side and then I can get more painting done on the floor in here. So this morning first thing I went into town. I took the 4 gallons of paint that I had previously purchased that I thought were blue, but ended up being nothing but white, and I had them put tint in it. So these are the gallons of 1 part epoxy paint that I purchased. There are other gallons on the shelf that look exactly like this, but at the bottom here in this little rectangle, it says Battleship Gray. That happens to be one of the colors that they offer. Well, I took it as, that, oh, and the box was gray too. So I took it as this box represents the color inside the can. Kind of thought that made sense, but apparently not. So anything with deep tint base on it means it has to be tinted by them with one of, I think they offer maybe about 20 different colors. So I chose this aquamarine. I didn't have much time to make a choice, so it kind of stood out to me, and that's what I went with. So they tinted it with the aquamarine, and I brought it back and I started painting. So I think it'll work out just fine. Once it dries, I'll go back and I'll do all the little nooks in the, the steel beam or the steel ribs of the Quonset hut. But I just wanted to get the vast majority of this 1/3 done so that I can put stuff on it and then do another 1/3. And then the middle section probably will be last. So anyway, I'm happy that the curse has been lifted and I finally got some painting done in here. Weather worked out, timing worked out, everything worked out. All right, talk to you tomorrow. Hola, from Westville, Florida. It is Wednesday, March 18th, and I was out in the sun all day today, so I'm wearing the sombrero. Anyway, yesterday, my grapevines arrived, so I wanted to get them into the ground as soon as possible. So this is what I got done today. All right, so on this side, we've got 4 black fry muscadine variety. And then on this side, we also have 4 variety called Darlene. Don't know where that came from, but that's what they call it. So I had to mix up the dirt in each of these holes and then plant the vine. I had them in water in a bucket overnight. Just wanted to keep them hydrated. So I did one at a time, pulled it out, mixed up the dirt with a shovel, got it all nice and wet, dug a hole, put the vine in, cut one of these chicken wire tubes. I mean, it's basically about 2 feet of chicken wire. It's 3 foot wide, and then just tied in a cylinder and then tied to these 2 stakes in the ground just to keep the squirrels and the deer at bay, hopefully. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. It's just my best shot at keeping the wildlife from eating my grapevines. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's better than what they had. They just had these little plastic sleeves that you would slide over the vines. I think this is actually a lot better. And it wasn't that difficult really to do. You just cut the chicken wire. I had the cutter from the cable set that it came with a cutter and the cable and the wire vices. So I used that just to cut through the chicken wire, which is pretty soft, wrap it into a tube, throw it over the grapevine, and then just tie it with some twine to those stakes in the ground. All right, well, that's pretty much all I got done today, but it was a lot. It's more than you think. Anyway, we shall see what happens. I'll report on it tomorrow, see if any of my grapevines get gnawed on. All right, talk to you tomorrow. All righty, it is Friday, March 20th. Time to wrap up this week. But first, let's cover something that I totally forgot to even take a video of. Let's see if I can get the angle right without the sun coming through here. Let's try this. All right, so if I back off here, yeah, that's better. I don't know if you know it, but there was a gutter system all along this front edge of the pole barn, and this little end board during a storm had just literally dropped off, and the gutter was just kind of hanging there. So I knew that they were all basically clogged up and they were just holding water. These live oaks back here, they shed year round. I mean, that's what a live oak is. It never truly loses all of its leaves. So that's why they call it a live oak. It just sheds leaves, you know, all year long. And it was filling up the gutter. It had like this cover on it. I'll show you in a minute. It has a cover on it. It had a bunch of holes in it, and the water supposedly would go through and the leaves wouldn't, but it was just trapping the leaves and the water because the leaves were just getting all mucked up in there. And so I decided, you know, why don't I just take the whole damn thing down? Because the back side of the pole barn has no gutter, and there just doesn't seem to be a problem at all. So I'm just going to try and see what this does with no gutter at all, and see how it works out. I think it's going to be just fine. Now, I noticed that some of these boards up at the top here, let's get a little closer here. The sun, you can see from all the, damn, I got to get out of the sun here. That's not working. Well, that's not one of the worst ones, but you can see that it's all stained and it's got all kinds of muck on it. And it's not rotted, but it's not looking all that healthy either. So I think I'm going to pull all those off along this front edge here and just replace them. and just be done with it. Just get some new boards on there and then paint them up with maybe the tree line green. So that was one project. Let me show you what I pulled off. It was really just a very cheap plastic gutter system held on with a bunch of clips. So it wasn't all that great to begin with. And these were you can see that this was the part that was supposed to keep the leaves from going in. Really, I mean, it sort of did its job, but there was definitely all kinds of stuff underneath there. You can see I've actually cleaned these out. Like, look at this one. That's cleaned. But these were just, it's got like an H shape to it, and it's just holding the leaves there and just preventing the water from going through. So it's not like one of those leaf shedding gutters where the leaves are supposed to roll off the gutters. It was actually trapping them, and it just was not doing the job. So I'm going to just leave it off, and I'm going to try and use some of these gutters maybe to hold some small plants while they're getting big enough to put in the garden. Make use of them somehow. The rest maybe I'll just end up throwing away. I'm definitely not going to put these back up. If I ever do put in a new gutter, I will just get a new gutter system. But I have no plans for that at the moment. So let's go down to the Quonset hut and I'll show you what's going on down there. All right, so this is the Quonset hut with the northern roughly 1/3 of the floor painted. And the first thing I did this morning was to paint in between the ribs of the Quonset hut here. You can see that. So I did all the cutting into those triangular sections, and then I came back and just painted the flat floor in here. So it went down fairly easily, but the only thing I have left now is this center section here. So once this dries, I'll probably be able to put stuff on it Monday afternoon. I'll put these benches over here. I'll do a quick power wash of this center section. It's already pretty clean from power washing this side and that side, and it's already been swept multiple times. So I'll do a quick power wash right out the front door and then paint the rest of it. And that should finish me up for painting the floor in the Quonset hut. So that will be a long time coming and a good job done, and I'll be happy to get it done and over with. All right, so that pretty much wraps me up for this week, and we'll keep going next week. Talk to you later. Bye.